Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. So we're just going to be discussing ahead of the Raiden Shogun's release, whether we should pair up with Ayaka or with Eula. So if you don't know, here on Hoyo Lab they've released a bit of Raiden Shogun's kit. There's the article number, so this is the official post, and we can basically see what the Raiden Shogun does. She provides us a bit of off-field AoE, which is always very nice, and then she's got her ultimate ability, which I think is here. And as you can see, essentially what she does is she gets out her sword and she starts attacking enemies for a very long duration. So that's what they sort of give us in terms of a kit. So if we just look at that on its own, a lot of people will tell you that you should pair her with Eula. And just full disclaimer, I've got a C6 Triple Crown Eula, so this is no bias against Eula, but I think Ayaka is actually a bit of a better in slot for her than Eula, and the simple reason is when you take Ayaka and you cast her elemental burst, you can easily do this. You can now switch them to another character. You can see in this time span I've already it's Ayaka's elemental burst lasts like Eula's for 20 seconds, and if you looked at the timer there at the bottom, essentially with a cast time of 2 seconds, we had about 11 or 12 seconds left on the clock, and in that time I casted Klee and Zhongli's elemental burst. The problem with Eula is the moment you cast her elemental burst, this takes about 2 seconds, and then we will now need to be on field for about 7 seconds before this actually goes off. And in this time, we can exit early, but then we're not getting the full damage. And that is sort of my problem with using Eula with the Raiden Shogun, is the fact that both of them, from what I'm understanding here, will take a lot of on-field time, and I don't think superconduct's a very good reason just to have these two on, because you can use the other upcoming character Kujo Sara, or you can use any other electro character just to trigger superconduct. So superconduct's not an argument for Baal herself to be on the team, rather it's almost an argument not to have her, because of the fact that she takes so much uptime, and Eula's going to take a lot of uptime, which means the rest of your team is actually going to be quite sort of left behind. This also means that if on your team you've got someone like your Xiangling, and let's say your Xingshu, then obviously any snapshotting effects will obviously expire by the time Eula's ult goes off, and I'm not quite sure what Eula provides for Baal, because if you look at her talents here, Ice Tide Vortex will decrease the opponent's cryo and physical resistance, but that only really applies to Eula, whereas someone like Ayaka, especially if you've got it at C4, will decrease the enemy's defense. So the Raiden Shogun will be able to do a lot of damage, and your Ayaka, because she can be off the field, her ult will still do damage. So you've got a nice overlay and overlap. And what's more is, because of Ayaka, you can switch on to other characters, you can build your resolve stacks quite a lot faster, and then you can get your Raiden Shogun on the field. So I do think a lot of people are misunderstanding why you should use Eula and not Ayaka. Um, I do think the team building comp with Ayaka is a lot more fluid. That's because you can put in a lot more other varieties, whereas with Eula, the point about how you want to play Eula is you want to set up your shields, you want to set up your supports, and then Eula is essentially the hyper carry. You trigger superconduct, you trigger your Bennet, you've got your shield so she won't be interrupted, and you just do max damage in that time window. I feel it's going to be very difficult to get that sort of playstyle or team comp to work, especially if you're a free-to-play player. Whereas with Ayaka, you can just swap off, and then you can either run a freeze comp, you can run any other supports that you'd like, and in a way, Ayaka will support the Raiden Shogun. So how the Raiden Shogun will actually support the rest of the team through her constellations, we don't know, but hopefully we'll get an answer soon. But my best guess is that her constellations might probably be leaning more towards helping Ayaka than it will be to Eula. So let's just wait and see. And yeah, that's it for the short discussion. Cheers.